Fantastic to be here at the Design Summit in Melbourne, and I'm truly pleased to welcome Austin Begg and son Andrew Begg from Melbourne company Traffic to talk about something called Brand Metabolism. But Austin, let's start off with you. What exactly is Traffic? Just set us up for the moment.
Traffic started 10 years ago when Andrew decided that he'd set up his own agency. The last 5 years we've specialised in brand transformation, which is basically taking ailing brands and making them, reinventing them to be more competitive in the current marketplace.
Okay, so tell me more about that, Andrew. How does that manifest itself?
Well, Traffic basically is a destination that clients go to go through the brand transformation process with Brand Metabolism, and that is about looking at the challenges that businesses go through. It could be a rebrand, it could be a website, it could be a raft of different things that are affecting the business. Generally, they come to us when they're in a bit of decline, or they feel like they need a bit of a transformation, a bit of a renewal. So we look at and analyse the business right across all aspects, and that's where the brand metabolism process comes into place. Then once we put them through this process, we get a more accurate creative brief, which allows us to really drill down to what the client and what the business problems are, so that we can then execute it creatively, and hopefully, most of the time we get a great result.
Achieve a great result.
Yeah.
So when you say you have to ask for a slightly different brief, you have to work with the client in a very different way. What is it that you have to do as part of Brand Metabolism, Austin, to communicate with that client differently perhaps than what other companies in the marketplace might have to do?
Most of the strategic formats used today, even by the very big companies, are not 21st century focused. They haven't moved with the times with internet and digitalisation and social media and everything. What Brand Metabolism does is essentially bring all of the elements of the client, including culture and organisation structure, into play for the first time. I say for the first time because most of the traditional ad agency strategic business models, and even a lot of the strategic companies, forget that culture is probably these days the single biggest driving force. Brand Metabolism forces you and the client together to go through and analyse everything together, which means it's far more rigorous, and we end up with disruptive solutions at the end of it.
Okay, so you're not just telling the client what to do, you're working directly
Together,
with the client,
yes.
So it's much more collaborative. And that is, I imagine, very beneficial, but is the client always prepared, Andrew, to be taken on that journey, or do you have to kind of push them to take on that challenge, to be courageous, I suppose?
Yes, I mean the first step is the workshop, obviously, and in the workshop we want to have pretty much all aspects of the business. So we ask for CFOs, we ask for sales centre people, we ask for obviously the managing directors, the people at the coalface speaking to the public. And we give it a flat structure. There are no bosses in this process, and we really find out what the problems are for the business, and then as a result of that, it gives us a very good idea of how to solve it. But not only that, whenever a business is going through major transformation, if the CEO says this is what we're going to do, it's very hard for them sometimes to get the rest of the staff and the rest of the business to go along with that process. So this is a way of everyone feeling like they have their fingerprints on the brand transformation. So when we actually present back creatively and strategically, we'll actually mention some of the quotes and some of the ideas that actually came out of sometimes 30 people in these workshops. So that these people and the business feel like they're all on board and they're all with the momentum of actually through the transformation.
Yeah. What's interesting to me is that, I mentioned it earlier, of course, your father and son, and you both have very different approaches, I imagine, to how you work within this business and also work with the clients. So what are the key differences? Austin, what is it that you do that it differentiates yourself from your son Andrew?
Well, I guess my background, I created Bob Jane T-Marts way back in 1972, so I've been used to branding and everything and looking at it from the commercial point of view. In fact, these days, Andrew and I spend a lot of time with CEOs and in boards, because what we do now forces cultural change, organisational change and everything. So I tend to come from how do we make money, how do we get more people engaged, converted, and how do we improve the shareholder value? Whereas Andrew looks at it, and of course he doesn't listen to me, and I don't listen to him. But at the end of the day, we end up with disruptive and highly creative solutions which embrace the total business.
Okay, so the fact that you work differently is incredibly beneficial within your
Yes.
business structure, but also when you're working with clients.
I mean, I think a nice way to look at it is left and right side of the brain. I mean, Austin definitely does the strategy side of the business and analyses it, and we look at the creative side of the business. And I guess even Brand Metabolism as a result of that has been, heavily looked at from the strategic side, and that brief then came across to traffic into our creative department. And we executed an award-winning, brand, and so that process worked even internally for us.
When you say you executed an award-winning brand, that means you actually market and advertise Brand Metabolism, which is not that common, is it? Why did you do this, and how did you go about that?
Every client that walks in our door has seen lots of workshops that a lot of other brand companies do. They're generally, I think, a little underwhelmed by the result, and when they go through the brand metabolism process, they see how in-depth, it's not a simple report that comes back. It is very detailed, right across the board. As Austin said, the culture is looked at, the brand is looked at, the business is looked at. So we're kind of, a creative agency, a strategic agency, but also business advisory as well. So Austin's obviously done a lot of, or my father has obviously done a lot of great businesses over the years. You look around the buildings around Melbourne, and his logos and brands are across them. I'm hoping to continue that with traffic.
How do you know that this works, Austin? That the approach that you're doing here for Brand Metabolism through traffic is successful for the clients? What are the stats really?
There's only one real measurement of success, and that is the company going to survive? Has it got sustainable business model? We look at business models very critically. The biggest single barrier that we've got is fear. We see the fear in the eyes of the product manager, the CEO, the CFO, and it's all about what we explain to them is if they don't risk something, they'll risk everything. And this fear, this inertia of resisting change is still in place, and it's a big worry. So I get a great thrill out of turning them from being fearful to being embracing change and taking all the credit for our ideas, and that's the best reward you can get.
I think the true success of any brand transformation is a couple of things. I think getting the people within the business to embrace it. I think is a big thing. You see Apple, and I hate using Apple as an example, but everyone loves working there. We've done a couple of brand transformations where the staff within the business have actually turned around and go, guys, you've given us a brand that we love, and it's as good as Apple. I mean, that's a nice thing to hear. But then down the track, once it's all, the hype's over and the launch is done and the brand's out there and they're handing out their cards and the new strategies are in place, it's share price. It's the look on whether it's a small business, and we had to do small business transformations, and they were looking at actually shutting stores down, and now they're actually opening stores up.
So we sort of talked about this towards the beginning. So a little bit more, perhaps, Austin. What is it that rather than fearful, I suppose, what is it that the clients are doing in order to be able to tackle the approach that you're asking them to do that is courageous, that allows them to have a point of difference from others in the marketplace?
I've got a very interesting observation, and that is that I think marketing people generally have failed to embrace change. Most of the change these days is being driven from CEO level because of the inertia of marketing people. Some marketing guys are now being employed back into boardrooms, but marketing has not had a presence in boardroom for many, many years. Now, that has to do with courage. So why isn't the marketing fraternity being invited to sit in on boards and drive change? Frankly, they have not led the charge, so they lack the courage. So what we're finding now, and it's from publicly listed companies, we're getting inquiries with major publicly listed companies to come in and work with the marketing departments, appointed sometimes by the brand transformation or the chief transformation officer, which is now becoming very much part of survival in this business economy, in this environment today. So courage is a very hard to find ingredient. Even employing people for ourselves, we have on our website a mindset thing which we make before we hire anyone. Have you read the traffic mindset? It's all about being brave, having courage, being rigorous in your pursuit, of a great outcome.
I think it's very courageous for a CEO to go on that brand transformation road. We have just done quite a large one for a business in Australia and New Zealand, and it's a franchise network, and we all know franchise networks there's a lot of experts in the room, and it was very funny. We were just going and doing the final presentation for the new brand and the rollout, and you could see a little bit of fear in the CEO's face. He's going to go and put his name on the line and take this business into the next generation. And we had to literally say, it's okay, it's going to be good, they're going to love it. They've been on the road all the way through, and that ended up happening, and there's this great relief and everything on his face at the end of it. It's great.
Right.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. Austin Begg, Andrew Begg, thank you so much. Great to speak with you.
Pleasure.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.